Hello, good evening. Welcome back to Rangers Radio. Rangers 1, Servette 1. Away tie qualify the Champions League. Join myself out here back in the show is young JM and young Robert. How are we doing, gentlemen?
Yeah, we are. How are we, JM?
Evening, guys. All good after that result? Good result.
Good result. Game of two halves, Robert?
Absolutely. Hit the nail on the head with that, mate. First half, very lacklustre, to be fair. First 3-4 minutes looked pretty promising. And then Servette get a big chance. Massive save from Butland. And from there, it was a wee bit off the pace from Rangers. Sat off. Didn't really press. But yep, second half absolutely took the game to Servette. I thought Raskin's performance second half, I know we touched on pre-show, second half performance was absolutely incredible. Job done.
Yeah, job done. And Bonner to Tav, JM. Bonner to Tav.
Yeah, too. Yeah, Borner to Tav. Yeah, both, especially Borner was taking a bit of stick a beat, especially from the pundits at half-time with that situation with the not offside chance, the one-on-one. But, yeah, they turn up again when needed, don't they? One with a great cross and the other with which is a bit weird from a right back, but almost a trademark header at the back post.
Yeah, we did start the game reasonably well, and I thought, we're going to get a goal. And then, as you said, Robert, the chance came for sort of one ball was played up, flicked, and the ball was right through. And then we seemed to lose our way. I think we were getting the wings away too much. We were too narrow out of possession, Robert.
We were, mate. There was, although I spoke pre-match about kind of giving Servette that freedom out wide, I think we gave far too much respect to them in that aspect. They certainly were in control of the ball more. There was no press from us, and we certainly saw the difference in that second half. First half, Rangers looked happy for Servette to have the ball. Even in Rangers' half, there was no real intensity to get the ball back and break. When Rangers did have the ball when it was on attack, Servette were on the counter, and the wingers are pretty fast. Taking nothing away from the boy who actually scores the goal. It's a fantastic finish, but it's certainly areas of the park that we could have prevented and dominated more in the first half.
Yeah, the goal that we lost, John Suter wasn't great, JM?
No, John Suter wasn't great. Obviously, misread the flight of the ball, but live and then watching it a few times, I'd like to see my holding midfielder Ryan Jack sniff out the sort of danger there. If you watch him, he heads towards space where the only place that can really drop that can cause us bother is to their centre forward, the one with the long hair. I know he never went to score the goal, but he got the loose ball that eventually deflected off Golson, didn't he? So definitely a definite error from Suter, but I think there was others that maybe could have helped prevent the goal, but it was a good finish. Butland couldn't do anything about it.
Top draw. I've seen it behind the goal. Oh, great finish of the goal. So, we had a chance. Josie puts a cross in. Josie, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And Danielio's got to score. Well, let's say he's got to hit the target, JM.
Yeah, one of them, it's, I think they said for commentary that, it looked like, I think he thought he had scored by the judging of it. It's got to be a lack of concentration, hasn't it? Because he actually just, believe it, even though it's gone over, he just hasn't concentrated and put enough contact on the ball. It's almost hit off him rather than him making connection with the ball. But he's got to score a great all-round move, actually, in general. I think you find it was actually Borner that won the tackle sort of in the left midfield position. Played it, but I think Raskin account well or vice versa out to Jose, and then, like I say, a great ball. Seamer almost gets on the end of it, which maybe if you're looking for to help, maybe puts Danilo off a touch, but he still should score.
He's got to score, Robert.
I think it's a difficult one, mate. The ball's absolutely delicious. It's a striker's dream, the ball. I don't know if the speed and the bounce, it just causes him to take his eye off it. Either that, in his mind, he's always celebrating.
He's got to score, Robert.
Great chance. Great chance.
I know what I would have done. I would have turned around, flicked it, come back, healed it in personally. But he's got to score all day long. Well, put it this way: if the keeper makes a miraculous save, you can say, well, fair enough, but he didn't even hit the target ultimately. So then they should have scored again, the one you mentioned, J.M. Actually, with Bonner on the halfway line, that was a big mistake for me. It was Goldson just before that when the ball broke. I don't know what he was trying to do. And then we played offside at halfway line. The boy squares it, he's got a tap in. Another decent save by Butland.
Yeah, another good save. I mean, I think that what's different with that one is he maybe shouldn't have got the opportunity to make the save. I think there'll be a bit of a discussion about that from the other team now. But going on with what Goldson was doing, but what was frustrating about the whole thing was, if you remember just before it, we had the ball under no pressure on the edge of their box. And we were just so slack with it. I can't remember who exactly lost it. And then I think Jack and Tav sort of half ran into each other when it broke loose. And it was all about 4 or 5 things in that whole thing. It was all our own undoing, what was a bit frustrating. But then Butland done what he had to do again and got in the way of it. So fair play to Jack Butland.
So then we get to half time. We're thinking, right, okay, what's going to happen here? They tweaked the shape during the match. I don't think anything worked in the second half of the first half. And we came out in the second half like a new team. Played at a bit more tempo, kept the ball, passed the ball. Raskin really grew into the game. Cantwell showed glimpses. He's a focal point everything we do, but Raskin ran the show, and then we get a goal. What's it wide? Bonner puts a trademark cross in, and James Tavernier's there. He head it home, Robert.
I said it pre-show, mate. It's Tav. It's what you get. I know the jury was out on him for their goal, maybe a wee bit too central, and he wasn't picking up his man wide. But then he pops up at these times in these games where it matters. It's a brave header. He gets the reward for being in a position, gets the goal, and it proves to be vital. It does the job. But again, you spoke pre-show, your 2 influential players are your fullbacks, and they've done it again tonight. 3 goals in the tie. Bonner set up 2 and Tav scored 2. Just shows you fullbacks are important.
I know. My centre forwards have got to start scoring, Giant.
Got to start. I mean, if in that tie alone, there's a Lammers and Danilo sitter there, and Desert you'll go on to, but should score that 9 out of 10. But yeah, the fullbacks are doing the business again, helping the new boys out while they find their feet. But hopefully throughout the season, we're going to see the strikers and attackers contribute a bit more.
So we get a goal, and we really started playing well. We looked as if we tired them. They'd run their race. They used their 5 substitutes and gave us a bit of pressure near the end. But we should have put the tie to bed. We should have got a second goal, and I think they would have chucked it then, Giant.
Yeah, I think so. I think, again, a bit like the first leg, we got ourselves into a lot of good positions to make better chances. We didn't create many clear-cut chances. Just the one from Dessa stands out for me as I'm thinking off the top of my head here. But we were running them ragged. We were the better team. We looked the far better team. But it wasn't. I think the lack of creating clear-cut chances was a touch worrying. But with that said, we were always in control of the game. But just getting that other goal would have just settled everybody's nerves.
Yep. Yeah. Ultimately, we've seen the game out, and it's all these games are about the result, and we're through. Good for the club, good financially, good for credibility, and a big tie coming up now, Robert.
Absolutely, mate. And PSV, no disrespect to Servette, but we can all agree that PSV is a level or 2, maybe even more above Servette. They've won tonight overall. I think it was 7-2. They beat Sturm Graz overall. So they're certainly an attacking outfit. We know them well. Played with them obviously last season, but it's a big, massive game. And again, the financial aspect, if you get through, it's brilliant for the club, brilliant for the supporters. European nights at Ibrox are special nights. The away trips you're going to get in against the big teams, they're so called. There's so much riding on this game now, but that's another day. There's other games beforehand, but again, it's a shot at getting into Champions League group stages.
And just for anybody watching the game tonight, behind the Union Bears, you'd have seen Southside with his top off, swinging it, celebrating just after the goal. I think he might even have a new tattoo. Someday you might have think he'd have won a few quid, Giant.
Yeah. Some scenes, yeah. Look like he'd been working out. But good, didn't he?
He's definitely been hitting something.
Yeah.
Right, I don't know if it's the gym. Right, okay, we'll get these phone lines opened.
Yep, bring in the callers.
Let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Right, we'll take the negatives first, JM, and then we'll take the positives. Yeah.
Yep.
The negatives is definitely at times that shape when we don't get it right. We give teams a lot of space to play and get the ball wide and hurt us. Yeah. And whether it doesn't matter if you're the best centre halves in the world. If people get shots from a goal, you get crosses into them, but eventually they're going to score.
Yeah, what I found funny about the shape was that diamond which we thought we were going to start with, which basically I think we all thought pre-show we were going to start with. We didn't start like that initially, and we were on top. And then once we gave that chance away, it was as if it rocked us a little bit. Then we went back into that diamond, and nothing got better for that whole first half. We were giving them far too much space, giving them opportunities. We wasn't quick enough with their runners from midfield. They got away a few times. We were caught in between. We suddenly had Raskin and Cifuentes, not sure whether they should be going, whether they should be sitting. It got confusing. It's not. It doesn't look like we've. As that's the only shape we've sort of been playing with. It doesn't look like we've got that sussed out of possession, or maybe it just doesn't work out of possession.
Robert?
Yeah, it certainly looked disjointed, especially after that chance that we've alluded to previously. I think that the issue is, and I know it's very early in the season, Beale won't know his best 11. He might have an idea in his head. He might have an inclination of what that's going to be. But until he knows what the best 11 is, I don't know if he knows the best shape either, whether it's the diamond or a 4-3-1-2 or 4-2-3-1. He'll find this out as time goes on. And the new players will obviously adapt as well as the ones that have been there previously. Once we get a settled starting 11, get a settled shape, I think that's when you'll see us really go up the gears from the first whistle to the last. If you can take a second half performance like tonight, consistently over games from the start, then we can run teams over, especially in the domestic league. European nights, depending on the opposition, you may have to set up a bit differently. And again, that will come down to shape and personnel. But I think once he gets his best 11, he'll know how to set it up. They will all know their roles and responsibilities. JM alluded to it. Jack and I think it was Raskin ran into each other at one point for the chance for Servette. That can happen, but it's less likely to happen, obviously, when you've got a bit more cohesion and team chemistry about you. And that'll go on as the season goes.
Yeah, so that's a big negative for me. The big positive was the way they responded, the fitness of the team, because we looked by far the fitter team in the second half, considering the heat there. The spirit in the midfield. I thought the midfield, at different times, I mean, Jack hardly touched the ball, but he done a job for the team. The new boys looks as if he's got something about him. Raskin grew into the match was superb, and Cantwell just gives you that X factor, Jam. So the big plus for me tonight was the midfield players. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'm not too sure I agree on the Ryan Jack situation. I think if we hadn't won the game, you wouldn't be saying he'd done a job. He hardly touched the ball. I don't think he touched the ball at times. Maybe in the last 15 minutes he came into it a bit, but I thought he'd ran out of legs. But when the game stretched, but I definitely agree. I thought Cantwell the whole game was superb. Energy, creativity, keeping the ball. I thought Raskin, especially after, I don't know, maybe an hour, when they started to lose legs, he looked like he was getting quicker. He was getting better and better throughout the game. And Cifuentes, maybe a good hour. And then obviously maybe not quite being up to match sharpness after a break, came and had to come off. But I personally maybe thought that Ryan Jack could have been off a little bit sharper than he was.
I'm not saying that he played well, J.M. I'm saying is he had a real unglamorous role in there. Yeah, just a dead doggies, really. It's not a great. You're not going to go on the ball, but the first half, none of them are great in possession, if I've been honest, apart from maybe Cantwell. And Cifuentes done okay. But in the second half, if that's the standard for Cantwell, Raskin and Cifuentes, we'll get a good midfield, Moran, just with they three.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Definitely them two. I thought they were incredible. They were pretty good. And it's all positive going forward. And they're only going to get better as they play more games together as well. And it starts to gel. And once that forward line gels a bit better, because then obviously things that the midfield are doing will help affect the forward line more. So, no, it's all positive from that aspect.
What?
I think on the Jack point, by him not being mentioned so many times just shows you the job he actually done. It was the dirty side of the game, they call it. He was in that position just to kind of shore up the midfield as a sitter. And the fact that it wasn't mentioned meant that he hadn't needed to cover anybody or do last-ditch tackles. It was a quiet game, but the dirty side of the game, which he did do, the running, and he's obviously done it well enough that he's kept the fitness up to go the full 97 whatever minutes it may have been. Again, the three you've mentioned, for me, that's your three kind of midfielders that you're looking at to influence a game. If you've got somebody sitting, whoever it may be in a European night, Cifuentes, Raskin and Cantwell, that's your three players that you're looking to dominate the midfield, get forward, break things up, and have some sort of chemistry. We know, as I said in the pre-show, Raskin and Cantwell came in at the same time. They've got a kind of off-field relationship as well as on it. Cifuentes, again, for only playing a debut on Saturday, and to do a performance like that of a high standard, it'll give him the confidence in the world of good. And he'll certainly improve on that as we play more games together.
Yeah. I'm talking about the big positives and negatives. There's others and other people have different opinions, but it was all about getting through. Other good news for the club. The Rangers B team beat Stenhouse Muir in the Challenge Cup tonight. JM with an injury time winner for Zach Lovelace.
Good to see him still getting involved and doing stuff for the B team. And you never know, do you? But obviously he's still a young lad and doing very well. Always seems to be involved in his victory, so good for him. Good for the B team.
Yeah. Right, it'll be interesting how if this can give a bit of confidence, because obviously these teams are no mugs. One of the things I thought sitting watching it, Robert, was Todd Cantwell. I'm not saying they're a top team, but they always get difficult games away from you. That's a Swiss, Austrian, the big European sides are always good technically. They had some decent players. I thought their captain was gave you everything he had. But however, Cantwell showed to me that he can play at that level.
Absolutely. And I think we're probably basing that on his second half performance as well, compared to the first half.
Hello?
Oh, we'll cut across you. We've been joined by Ian. Evening, Ian.
Hi, how you doing?
All right, mate. Bit better now.
I was a wee bit touch and go there. I hope you are all well.
Good, mate. Good, mate. Give us your thoughts.
Wee bit touch and go. I think apart from scoring the goal, Tav didn't do anything. Gave the ball away. Gave the ball away a couple of times. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's getting to the end of his time, but every time he got on the ball, he was nervy. Apart from when he scored.
Don't disagree. Wasn't he great, Giant?
No, I thought especially in the first half, but I thought that could have been said about a good maybe more than half a dozen of them in the first half. I thought in the second half, obviously he got the header, then I actually thought that maybe gave him a bit more energy, and I thought he had a better sort of, even like I thought he had a good final third of the game, but I definitely wouldn't disagree until he got the goal. I didn't think it was his best performance few set pieces and that, not the best and whatever, and maybe an open play, but I think the goal just snips him just above pass marks.
Yeah, but it's not the first time this season, is it?
I'd agree. I would agree, to be fair. I'd say he's not looked his sharpest from open play, has he, since the start of pre-season, maybe. He probably hasn't looked his sharpest, but it's hard when he keeps popping up with goals and assists.
Yeah, goals could ultimately be worth 5 million, maybe a lot more. But well, I'm not saying he was great, but Robert, he pops up and gets that goal.
It does, and again, it's vital because you look at the chances we created, and there wasn't anything like clear cut apart from maybe the Dessers chance, which I think he should score. Keeler makes another good save, but in terms of clear cut chances, again, it wasn't all pretty. He's in the position. He's going to get the goals. I get Ian's point on what he's saying, but it's not the first time that Tav's bailed us out, and it probably won't be the last as well. I know he comes in for a lot of criticism, but for the right back with the numbers he's got going forward, he's a threat to any team, and he's shown at this level, the European run, you get the golden boot for being the top goal scorer, so he's certainly capable of doing it. And if you're going to take a goal from your right back to get you into the Champions League playoff, you take it before kick-off.
Yeah,
I agree with you that, but their goal came from the right hand side as well, didn't it?
I don't think Tav was involved with that. Made the ball.
That was too far up. It was too far up the park, though, wasn't he? He couldn't get back to defend.
He was next to Goldson.
He was in next to Goldson when it happened, mate. It was him and Goldson that went and broke across where the boy put it in.
I think it's easy to.
They didn't get close enough to the guy that was attacking the goal.
That could be a fair argument if you're thinking that maybe you think they could have got a bit tighter when he had the shot.
I'm saying yes, exactly. They could have shot him down.
I don't mind them getting stick for not getting the crosses in, but the guy scored a worldie, and it was a ricochet when it broke to the boy, you know. So I think we've got to be fair in our criticism, Robert.
As I said, mate, you can't take anything away from that finish. It's a top class goal. The angle from behind the goal, Butland's got no chance, and you see it actually goes between Tavernier and Goldson. The issue for me is you can't put all the blame on Tav for that goal alone or Goldson. The issue for me was before it.
A terrible leader.
Yep, yeah. He's misjudged the flight. But again, we had possession on the edge of their box, and it's resulted in us with our backs against the wall for a period of time during the game. It's a goal that was avoidable again, and I know we spoke about Suter pre-match as well. It's just one mistake, and that level, one mistake could cost you. But as I say, Tav's in that position to bail us out and get us through the tie. So I think it's easy to blame Tav or Goldson because they do come in for a lot of stick. But I don't think you can blame it for when the ball originally came from the opposite side.
No, I'm not looking at somebody to blame. I'm just saying, on their defensive capabilities, should they not go back a wee bit quicker and go closer to the player that was putting? Well, they actually scored the goal.
I see what you mean.
I don't think it was Goldson or Tav's fault. I mean, yeah, could they get half a yard closer? Maybe in an ideal world, but the boy he'll do that another 99 times and they'll score.
Aye, true, but
no, but ultimately, our captain who couldn't cross the ball for free kicks tonight popped up with the equaliser, and tomorrow morning in the paper he's going to be the hero.
Yeah, I agree with you there, but how long are we going to have to put up with somebody that can he defend? Right, say we were playing against the Timsland one, and the same thing happened. He'd get a whole load of stick, wouldn't he?
No, if he got the equaliser, JM.
No, I'm trying to go through. I think I pulled out the other tie I think I was going on about Tav and Barisic's goal difference, if you like, when they go. But again, I mean, I don't think he was at fault. If we're looking at, I think sometimes it's easy to give both our fullbacks stick, isn't it? Because I actually thought that both the centre half started worse than both fullbacks. I thought they caused a lot of our problems to start with. I thought Suter and Golson had 2 fresh air kicks, and obviously Suter's mistake ultimately led to the goal.
We've been joined by Barry. Evening, Barry.
How you doing, guys? All right?
All right, mate. Good to speak to you. What's on your mind?
Not a lot. I just think, I was just listening a wee bit there, obviously, and not been on for a little while. But I mean, I talking about the goal and with Tav and stuff like that. People are saying that he's done and he's by. I mean, I think that's a bit harsh. It's I would say he's maybe lost a yard of pace, but I think this time last year he was pretty much the same. He didn't quite kick into play. A lot of people were looking for him to have a wee rest. He didn't quite kick into play to maybe November last year. But I mean, he steps up at the big times when he's needed. I think saying he's by is a bit harsh. Very much so. We're the same old story. We're always, in the case of players, but once they're not there, and like for Golson last year, people were on his case constantly, and then when he wasn't there, we were ranting back. So I just feel a wee bit harsh. The great defender, but he wins his games, and important games as well.
I think some of the frustration, playing devil's advocate, is a couple of free kicks and he couldn't get past the first man at the ball twice.
Aye. I think he does need to take a step back, look at corners, free kicks, stuff like that. I mean, he's still back in the position and stuff. It's not running. I mean, he's been here for 9 years now, so he's not a spring chicken as such. But I can see what people are saying, but he does step up. He does step up when his big games. Definitely no buy. He's no buy. Maybe just needs to be a wee bit rested and realise where he is in his career.
What about the midfield? Cervantes, Raskin and Cantwell. What are you thinking of them, Barry?
I thought Raskin was man of the match. I really did. You can see it's got, obviously, he's just basically off the plane almost. I mean, he's only been here about a week and a half. But Raskin, I thought, was man of the match. I thought he was really good. You know what you're getting for Cantwell. He'll just run all day for you. But Raskin was my man of the match.
I'm glad you said playing in no boat there. That could have opened up a whole different debate. Right. Raskin in the second half was superb. Robert?
Yep. Raskin second half, as I said earlier on, was out of this world. Is the difference that he made. You could see the intensity in his play as well. Cervantes, there was a lot of asked for they to press their fullbacks, and that's what made us more dominant in the second half. We allowed them that space in the first half. On the second half, we pushed Raskin and Cervantes onto the fullbacks and left Cantwell in the 10 position, which created more problems for them and allowed us to play more of our football. They couldn't go through the middle, they couldn't go wide because of that pressure. So it's a massive difference in the second half. It's one of the ones where you ask, where was that maybe in the first half? But at the end of the day, we didn't need to win the tie tonight. We got the draw and job's done. We're in the next round. It's a level up, I've said that. And I think we will need to be sharper from the first whistle against PSV. There's no doubt about it.
I'll disagree with you. I think Butland was the man of the match. Two great saves in the first half.
Yeah,
and I think if we ever needed an indication for somebody to take over for Gregsy, I think he proved it tonight.
He's certainly looking the part, Jack Butland. I thought he was excellent tonight. In the first half, he was definitely our best player by a distance. J.M.
Yeah, two great saves, good distribution. In the second half, showed a bit of maturity on times, slowing it down without over-slowing it down and getting the ref's attention. Was barking orders when he needed to. Another good performance from Jack Butland, 100%.
Barry, what are you thinking about our strikers?
I'm not entirely sure he Beale knows exactly where he wants everybody to play. I'm not going to lie. I had a wee chuckle when I messaged my dad earlier when the Nilo missed that one. I said Sakala would have scored it, but I might have been way off the mark. But it did come at a bit pace. But I think they'll come good. I mean, we've seen their qualities. But I mean, it's early days, and I mean, it's a lot of changes. So it's going to take time, but at least we're still in there and amongst it, and that's important.
Yeah, it's important for the revenue, and hopefully we can get through and compete, but we'll see where it takes us. But we had to get it. It was important to win that tie night, Barry. Yeah?
Right. I mean, it was. I feel like obviously PSV. It's the same as like obviously we played them last year. It'll be interesting to see Tillman and see what he's all about. Anyway, but looking at their squad, I mean, nobody really stands out, to be honest with you. But then the definitely just click. I fancy still the others, especially the whole guy. Which is not easy to become. I even claims guests, so here's hoping.
Barry, we're going to drop you out and we're going to phone you back because your sound's not great, mate. Yeah.
All right, no problem.
Yeah, your sound's not great. You're breaking up on us.
All right. Okay.
All right, we'll bring you right back, right?
All right, Bob.
All right, cheers. Yeah, cheers. Aye, the strikers will come. There'll be a lot of talk about them on social media, Giant.
Like you said, I think we said before the show, we can write players off quickly as a support, but at the moment, I'm not seeing any more than I was seeing from any front threes we had last season, which seems maybe a bit miserable. But especially when the subs were made, I think we saw a bit of a lack of pace between both Lammers and Dessers, especially when the game became stretched. They didn't really give us that out more. I didn't think they really helped us out too much when they came on.
All right, you back with us, Barry?
I think so, aye. I'm
that's
kind
a lot
of the sticks here, so you'll need to let me know if you can hear me okay.
Aye, we'll need to get you a booster for your Christmas. Aye, the strikers will cause a lot of debate, mate.
Aye, well, I think it's. I mean, I've had a good look at them, and you know what he can do. It's just whether how he wants to play them, and you know if he's wanting to play the three up front. I mean, our own striker just didn't work the night at all with Danilo. It just didn't work, but it depends how he wants to set it up. I was talking about obviously Danilo, two up the top, but I think they just wanted to hold out a wee bit in the first half, playing with the one up front, maybe catch an early wee goal, which could have happened. But no, I mean, I would much rather have these guys than Morelos at the moment. He can't even get a club.
Aye, well, football's like a village. Anyway, we'll be joined by Smurf. Evening, Smurf.
Evening, Ox. Evening, lads.
How are we doing?
Evening, Smurf.
Aye, I'm good. Aye, I was just watching that. I was just grinding out a result. I was listening to the sort of critique of Tavares. People will be talking about this in 50 years, I think. But ultimately, you know, for everything he gives you going forward, you know, the goals, the penalties, the free kicks, and we all know what he lacks in terms of his defensive abilities or inability. But he's also the captain. He's been the captain for 7 years. And out of a possible 22 trophies, he's won 2. And I just think that's the only stat that matters. It's no one to detract away for the night. It's a positive result because we've progressed. But that's one side of the equation. The other side is Goldson comes in the night, and we don't have a left-hand-sided centre-half of the ilk of himself or Big Soapy. And I just feel that if we had somebody who was, you know, similar level on the left-hand side, I just wanted to ask you, do you think Goldson starts ahead of Suter on the right-hand side?
The manager seems to pick him because he'll not take the other way about. Goldson.
No, obviously, can he do it the other way about? I get that. He's, you know, Goldson can't kick the ball. He's left foot. He's cost us numerous goals. The one that springs to mind is the boy who's left and went to Real Madrid. Ibrox got that goal, and it was a goal's mistake. Couldn't clear it, left foot.
Bellingham.
Bellingham, Jude Bellingham. He literally could not kick the ball with his left foot. All he needed to do was punt it anywhere, and that's not a goal. So he obviously can't play him on the left. It's just that's a turkey before it starts. But I just think we obviously need a left-hand sided centre back. And it just was one of the ashes where you would play Suter ahead of Goldson or the other way about.
Oof, tough one, JM.
Up until I think it changes weekly. The last sort of 2 games I'd have 100% have said Suter, but after tonight, but yet again I'm contradicting myself because he's playing on the left-hand side, isn't he? No, I think I'd go with Suter. I think after centre, I think I'd go with Suter, to be honest. I think after the way he started, if he's staying fit, I think if I had to pick one, I'd be picking Suter. But unfortunately, I think our best 2 centre-backs are probably them 2. And for that, obviously, like we said, Goldson just don't seem to go on the left. I don't think you're going to see Suter on the right-hand side until we get a more comfortable or better left-sided centre-half.
Ben Davies has just disappeared. Robert, and you come?
For me, if you're just picking who's your strongest right centre back, personally I would go with Suter. Again, it's one of those ones where if you want a natural left-sided centre half, we only do have Ben Davies, and as Oxley just said, he's sort of disappeared. I don't know if it's injury related or if he's going to pastures new. There's not been many questions asked about him at any press conference, anything at all. So I think it's one of the ones where if we had another left-sided, natural left-footed option at centre-half, you maybe see some decisions being made. I just feel, the same as GM, that's probably our 2 strongest defenders we have just now. We know Suter's comfortable driving out the ball. We know Goldson can distribute. It's one of the ones where you play to your strengths, and at the minute, that's our 2 strongest centre-halves. And we spoke on it pre-match that Suter is growing in confidence playing on the left side. I remember a game against Livingston. Newbley kind of bullied him at that game, and he was on the left side. But since then, he's come on leaps from the bounds, and he looks a lot more fitter and physical as well as physically fit in terms of keeping injury free. And he's more comfortable, as GM had said in the pre-show as well.
What about you, Barry?
I mean, at this moment in time, he's the best defender that for the moment. I would say it's decent. Why? I mean, look at the goals where he's been. He's in the league. I mean, it's only in about a half. Now he's a best ahead of Goldson pre-season wise and stuff like that. But I'm a big Goldson fan. I mean, we'll have to lost them for a good the difference it showed. But at this moment in time, it's definitely sort of. But if they were both level pegging and they were both fitness wise, I'm a big fan of Goldson.
Hey, do us a favour. Go up and tap of the wardrobe. Put your hand up there and talk through your phone. You can get a signal. We're not going to get extended to the old Ayrshire internet.
Get me out. No.
There's another question, Ox.
We're about getting the Ouija board out for him. On you go.
So, do you think we're missing somebody up front that we can play the ball in and make the ball stick, so your likes of your Cantwells and that can get beyond them in that type of game?
Oh, funny enough, I thought Seema was doing okay, and particularly in the second half, he was looked as if he was growing in the game and showing a bit of pace. We haven't got a Morelos. Giant.
No, I think that's definitely a good point, isn't it? I think on paper the idea of that's clearly meant to be Dez's, but we're yet to see it, aren't we? even tonight, he was only given half an hour, 25 minutes, and he looked tired. He looked tired by the time he came on, didn't he? But I think you're right. If there's one thing in that attacking line, we've definitely got tidy players that look like they can create chances, but you're looking for that sort of wall pass, that number 9 with his back to goal, and it doesn't look like we've got that yet, does it?
Oh, well, certainly not. No, I mean, you look at Boyd Essels and he's just towing the caravan. And you talk about match fitness, and that's match fitness, isn't it? You will run faster. You'll just be able to run as fast as you can for longer, but you'll not run faster. You'll think faster. You'll react quicker. Your decision making will be better, but you'll not run faster. And he can't run. And I just don't know. I don't see it.
And he's been involved in every game since pre-season, hasn't he? He hasn't missed, as for terms of getting sharp goes. I don't know how much more time you need on a football pitch.
Well, that's true.
Well, would you play him? Would you play him against Morton at the weekend and give him time? Start him.
You would have to, try and build his confidence, hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, game again, Shuttles and Juniors, maybe, I don't know. Whatever it's going to take, innit? He's the boy's struggling, and to me, he doesn't look like a player. And I don't want to be, because it's only early doors, but he doesn't look like a player. And he's supposed to be this strong, physical upgrade on Alfie. And I'm no a cheerleader of Alfie. I mean, Alfie down tools. He was down tools for 2 years, but he was injured for a large part. And he's a guy that's just, he's the way he's made, a propensity to gain weight. He's a guy that's going to need to train all the time. And when you're injured and you can't train all the time, you're going to gain weight. And then weight's the hardest thing to shift. So the guy would stuck between a rock and a hard place. Also, he down tools, or it's at least seemed like that. But he's no, I'm not saying we were wrong to get rid of Alfie. There's no way, and there's no evidence that he's an upgrade in Alfredo Morelos.
No,
There's no way.
Your initial thoughts are that, I get that, but let's give him time and see where it takes us, and see where we're going. We'll give him a few weeks. But your initial thoughts, Robert, I don't think Smith will be alone in the thinking.
No, not at all, and I completely understand and see Smith's point. I think if he's talking about a game of that kind of setup tonight, for me, if you're asking out of the two we've brought in, Danilo and Dessers, a kind of European away tie is always going to be tough. If you're playing a lone striker, I don't know if Dessers would suit more a lone striker than Danilo. Danilo looks like the kind of striker that needs somebody off him. Talking about physical presence, and it's clear to the eye that Dessers has a more physical presence than Danilo. They're certainly different types of strikers. But as you say, Ox, time will tell. It's still early days in both the Rangers' career. In terms of the weekend, for me, I would give Dessers the game against Morton. It's possibly a game where he can maybe get a bit of confidence and maybe score a couple of goals, 2 or 3 maybe, get him some confidence. And it's just one of those ones that will take time for these players to gel, and ultimately we'll be talking about them at the end of the season, whether it's been a hit or a miss. But they need time. They're obviously different from what we've been used to with Roof, Sakala, Morelos. It's just a different kind of outlook we're going for now, and it will just take time. But sometimes don't get that at Rangers. But as a striker, you've got to be scoring the goals. But certainly give them the time that they deserve. They've came with big money, so they've got to kind of repay us in some way, and it will happen. I'm sure it will.
It's going to be interesting how he starts at the weekend, Smith. Just
I will.
Confidence and fitness, yeah.
It will be. And the other thing is as well, this Danilo Dessers little and large partnership thing, I don't think football's played that way. I don't think that's going to work. And if he's going to play with Dessers, the way we played narrow under Gerrard. So we did with 2 wingers. They could go out, but they would come tight and they'd get close the Alfie, and they get beyond them. And if you're going to play with Dessers, that narrow game where you're hoping Dessers would bring other people into the game would work. But Danilo's a different prospect. He needs service. He needs wingers getting the ball close to face of the goal at pace. But he missed a sitter in the first half.
What you saying to me then, Smith, that Danilo is a guy that somebody should put it in wide, put it across the 6-yard box, and he comes in at the back post with 4 yards out and puts it in the net.
Well, unless you watch the first half and he never done it, but that's the type of chance that's going to crop up, and you're hoping that he's not going to put it out of the bar and he's going to put it in the net. But that's what that boy's all about. For me, he's a guy that's going to anticipate stuff. He's a penalty box player, and he's going to need service. He's not holding the ball up. He needs service, and you're going to get the service for the wings. And so if you're playing with him, you need width. If you're playing with Dessers, you can play narrow and you can play half him. Well, you can't on the evidence we've seen. But that, in theory, that's what should be happening, you know.
And I'm
anyway.
Amongst time, people look at things a bit differently, but we'll see where it takes us. Except the jury's out, Jim, with the strikers, because they're judging the goals they've scored. But the big positive is going to be Cantwell, Raskin, and the new boy in the midfielder, Cervantes.
Yeah, if you like the alarm bells, maybe of the not taking the chances, but the way that we're sort of creating these chances, the way the midfielders are playing, not only with the ball but without the ball. Obviously, Raskin's energy was superb all night. Cantwell battling as usual. Cervantes, I think he pulled up. When he pulled up, it was from a tackle he made, wasn't it, covering tab slightly, like a decent run back and slide tackle. So them three, it's all really positive stuff.
And just a point in that, is that the boy Roof, I don't know what his fitness situation is, partly fit or whatever, and he was brought in his own men, so he's got to want to get them up to speed and up and running, and they're the old guys. But see, with A3 midfielders, I can't help but think Roof would score a barrel load.
Again, Smith, I don't think you'd only want to be thinking that, but obviously he wasn't in the European squad, so he couldn't be involved. I wouldn't be surprised to see him involved at the weekend. Robert?
I was just about to say he wasn't part of the European squad, so he obviously one of the players left out, probably to allow some homegrown players to be added, like the young boys. I think I said before on this show that Roof was probably the best finisher at the club we had, although Morelos was getting the goals for me. Last season, Roof, or even the season before, Roof was our best finisher. His goals to game ratio is very, very good and very high. Hindsight's a great thing. You think you watch a game and go, he would have scored that, and you might be right. But it's just one of the ones where this is what we've got just now. This is the team he's picked for Europe. You'll get to change it again. We might see Roof come in, depending on how the team sets up for the kind of forward campaign. But it's one of those ones where these boys just need a run of games, get a few goals, and confidence will get high. And as I said earlier on, once we've got a settled 11, a settled shape, we'll move up the gears, and the chances are coming, and they'll get executed. We'll bang them in.
Well, that's it. Next Tuesday at home, 8 o'clock kick-off against PSV, JM.
Yeah, definitely. I think, as we said before, it'll definitely be a step up. I'm really interested to see how we're going to set up against them, because I'd be hesitant if I heard we were going to set up how we set up in that first half. I'd be a little bit worried, but that's 2 games away, isn't it? But it'd be interesting to see how we set up against the first time we're going to play a competitive match against, maybe when we're not favourites.
Yeah, I'm interested. Obviously, we're going to end it side over them. Smurf, yeah, but hopefully that can get us through. Oh, the whole Smurf. Oh, Barry, hopefully we can still get through next, get a good result next week and get through the tie, yeah?
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me okay? Aye.
Aye, carry on, mate.
That's me top of the box. Aye, so hopefully, I mean, the only I know I'm going back the way a wee bit, but the comparing Morelos to Dessers, what Morelos are we comparing here? The one for last season, or in his prime. Does that not mean we need to give Dessers a wee bit of a chance to? I think because if you want to compare Morelos last season, Morelos was hopeless.
Aye, fair comment. Barry, we're going to let you go, mate, because you're breaking in and out. Yeah, your sound's not great. I know you're not getting the best reception, but great to hear from you as always, mate. Yeah, speak to you soon. That's a fair comment Barry makes, Robert, about, Morelos is gone also. He's gone. You've got to play with what you've got.
Exactly, mate. We've moved on, and we don't forget Alfie. We thank him for his services, and he had his troubles at the club, but again, he was a very important player in important games. It took me a while to find the goal for the Old Firm, but European top goal scorer for Rangers. We got him for £1 million. We should have cashed in my opinion, and got money for him, but we can't look at players of the past and go, this is the expectation of you as a new signing. It's big boots to fill. They know that. They've mentioned it before. Butland's mentioned it about Gorham and McGregor. The players know the expectations. It is a fair comment. You could compare Dessers now to Morelos banging them in, or you compare him to Morelos that was lacking energy, and you could say, oh, they're both the same player because they're not very mobile. It's hard to comment just now. It's very early days for them. They need to settle in. I know people say that we don't get time, and how long is too long to settle in, but again, it's a striker. Confidence comes with goals.
JM.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's because maybe we've been told and they look to be similar style of players, it's easy to compare. But you have to move on, don't you? You move on. We've got these players now and we've just got to back them, really. I mean, it can definitely only get better for Big Dessers at the moment. He's not really hit the ground running, but I'm sure he'll improve. I mean, if you're going back to Alfie, when Alfie came in, he was second choice striker behind that Herrera. So things can change.
Quite quickly. Sum up the right, Robert, with how big a game it was for Michael Beale.
Massive. As I said, it was one of those wins it's a banana skin. It was the way the game went. Getting into a European away tie, 2-1, with a 1-goal lead is always a banana skin. The atmosphere, the heat, the pitch. I think Beale said in his post-match conference that it was sticky and slow. And I think Servette adapted to that and we struggled a wee bit. So it's just one of those ones where he got through it. First half, the lineup didn't seem taking a click, but it certainly worked in the second half, and fair play to him for fixing that at half time. Rectified the issues that were there and we imposed ourselves second half.
I think that was probably what was the most impressive, wasn't it? Because even we knew they were going to come at us that quickly, but the way he sort of showed that the team's got character, because obviously the first half wasn't very good, but to come out on the second half that quick and that well, and to be honest, I think that shocked them as well. I think that proper shocked them. Do you think?
I think you're right, mate. Carry on.
Oh no, yeah, no. I think that's what shocked them, to be honest. The fact that they maybe came in, tails up a little bit, figure these guys are rattled here, and we came out like a new team. And I thought that was impressive and good for Michael Beale, because he's obviously said the right things, tweaked the right things, and also got the reaction from the players as well, which I think maybe answers some questions some of us may have had about Beale. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it was obviously an issue they identified at half time. I'm sure they'd have spoke in great length about it. The players obviously picked up the message that there was something missing in that first half, and they certainly improved the second half. And whether it was Beale that noticed it or his backroom staff, the bottom line is they noticed the issue, knew how Servette were playing, and they didn't really change their style as well. Although we changed at half time, they didn't. They kept their same game plan. It was all the same style of play, the same movement. Whereas we enforced our style on them second half, and that's what's won us the game.
JM, did the fitness please you a bit tonight? We did look the fitter team.
Yeah, we looked a lot fitter in that heat, didn't we? Which was good and impressive. I don't know whether the goal also just took a little bit out of them as well, because they felt like they were on top, and obviously they start chasing the game or whatever. But no, our midfield definitely looked fitter than theirs. Well, we looked fitter all over the pitch, to be honest. I know that was a good thing. Maybe we've heard the manager mention enough about getting miles in their legs. Maybe that's starting to, come to the top now. That was good to see.
Aye. You see, look, I mean, I don't think we took the heat into account, but it's a lot warmer than we're used to playing in. You say that, okay, people from all over the world now, Brazilians, Ecuadorians, so we're not a Scottish team anymore, if that makes sense, Robert.
Aye, we've went global when we're introducing the Scottish weather and the European weather to these boys. Cifuentes, especially from LA to Glasgow. What more do you want? Do you know what I mean? It's been splitting the skies here today, so I'm sure when he comes back to Glasgow from Switzerland, they'll be enjoying the climates. There's a lot of changes at the club, and there's a lot of changes for players as well. And I think that's just the important thing. It's a massive rebuild. It's what we've asked for, and it's what we've needed. And although the season has just started, there's a high expectation, of course, and we'll get through the season, and hopefully by the end of it, it's a joyous one, and the players have got memories to take away from them whenever they leave the club, but not too early.
Mm-hmm. Right. Sum up tonight, Jaya.
Very positive result, very positive reaction after the first half. I think all in all, best way to sum up was probably positive. I thought there was some great performance in there. Raskin, Campwell, Cifuentes. Good to see Borna getting another assist, Tad popping up with a goal. Maybe not spoke about him enough tonight. I know we mentioned quickly Jack Butler with another great performance. Everything seems to be going in the right direction, and hopefully these players will notice things start to go up a notch next week when we welcome PSV.
Yeah, for you, Robert?
Say that at the start of the show, mate. Job done. On to the next round, and this is the reason you come to Rangers, to play in these big European ties, playing the big games beyond the main stage. They've got a taster for it. They're going to have a big game against PSV next week, but certainly Ibrox first leg, we don't fear them. Bring them on, and let's hopefully another successful evening under the lights at Ibrox.
Yeah, that'll be everybody online. Order another tickets, another sell it. Good money for the club, Giant.
Yep, it's all income, isn't it? I don't know what it amounts to. I know you see stuff about €5 million. I don't know if that's just prize money, if they take tickets and all the stuff that comes with it into account or whatever. But no, all positive stuff, good income for the club, isn't it? And makes, starts to make them signings justified as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Right, okay. Robert, great to hear from you, mate. I hope you enjoyed it tonight.
Yeah, it's been good, mate. Thanks for having me. GM, good being on with yourself as well. And looking forward to the next one already.
Yeah, GM.
Yep, thanks, guys. Great night, great result. Good from the callers and that, and on to the next one.
Yep, thanks to Ian for joining us, Smurf, and Barry, who had problems with his connection, but always good to hear from Barry. Thanks to Fox for doing the show. Shout out to everybody out there, the listeners. Everybody on YouTube and Facebook and all our other platforms, thanks for listening. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10, talking about all things Rangers. Take it away, Foxy boy.